UFOs, Uruguay. The Uruguayan Air Force has conducted UFO investigations since 1989 and reportedly analyzed 2,100 cases, of which they regard approximately 2% as lacking explanation. Astronomer reports. The U.S. Air Force's Project Blue Book files indicate that approximately 1% of all unknown reports came from amateur and professional astronomers or other telescope users, such as missile trackers or surveyors. 1952, J. Allen Hynek, then a consultant to Blue Book, conducted a small survey of 45 fellow professional astronomers. 5 reported UFO sightings, about 11%. In the 1970s, astrophysicist Peter A. Sturrock conducted 2 large surveys of the AIAA and American Astronomical Society, AAS. About 5% of the members polled indicated that they had had UFO sightings. Astronomer Clyde Tombaugh, who admitted to 6 UFO sightings, including 3 green fireballs, supported the extraterrestrial hypothesis for UFOs and stated he thought scientists who dismissed it without study were being unscientific. Another astronomer was Lincoln La Paz, who had headed the U.S. Air Force's investigation into the green fireballs and other UFO phenomena in New Mexico. La Paz reported 2 personal sightings, one of a green fireball and the other of an anomalous disc-like object. Both Tombaugh and La Paz were part of Hynek's 1952 survey. Hynek himself took 2 photos through the window of a commercial airliner of a disc-like object that seemed to pace his aircraft. In 1980, a survey of 1,800 members of various amateur astronomer associations by Gert Helb and Hynek for CUFOs found that 24% responded yes to the question, have you ever observed an object which resisted your most exhaustive efforts at identification? All right. Fata Morgana, a type of mirage in which objects located below the astronomical horizon, because the Earth is curved, it's not flat, appear to be hovering in the sky just above the horizon, may be responsible for some UFO sightings. Here, the shape floating above the horizon, take a look at over here, may be responsible for some UFO sightings. Here, the shape floating above the horizon is the reflected image of a boat beyond the horizon. If you keep flying, there it is. Fata Morgana can also distort the appearance of distant objects, sometimes making them unrecognizable. So, this is something in the sky, because it's a reflection in the clouds right here of something just over the horizon, kind of like you see it right there. See? And here's the same thing from looks like a plane or some window or something. Okay? Here's something else. Lenticular clouds have in some cases been reported as UFOs due to their peculiar shape. Studies show that after careful investigation, the majority of UFOs can be identified as ordinary objects or phenomena. Take a look at this. Flying saucers. Amazing. These are clouds. Look at them. While these spherical floating shapes could be mistaken for UFOs, they're actually lenticular clouds, which are created when winds blow across and over hills and mountains. If there's enough moisture in the air, the clouds will form as the wind rises. Here they float above the mountain ranges of Russia's far east. Take a look. Amazing. The most commonly identified sources of UFO reports are astronomical objects, bright stars, planets, meteors, re-entering man-made spacecraft, artificial satellites, and the moon. Aircraft, aerial, advertising, and other aircraft missile launches. Balloons, toy balloons, weather balloons, large research balloons. Other atmospheric objects and phenomena, birds, unusual clouds, kites, flares. Light phenomena, mirages. Fata Morgana. ball lightning, moondogs, searchlights, and other ground lights. And not the least of which is hoaxes. The 1952 to 55 survey of the Battelle Memorial Institute for the U.S. Air Force included these categories as well as a psychological one. An individual 1979 study by CUFO's researcher Alan Hendry found, as did other investigations, that less than 1% of cases he investigated were hoaxes, and most sightings were actually honest misidentifications of prosaic phenomena. Hendry attributed most of these to inexperience or misperception. Claims by military, government, and aviation personnel. Since 2001, there have been calls for greater openness on the part of government by various persons. May 2001. Press conference was held at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C. by an organization called the Disclosure Project, featuring 20 persons, including retired Air Force and FAA personnel with intelligence officers, and an air traffic controller. They all gave a brief account of what they knew or had witnessed and said they would be willing to testify under oath to a congressional committee. According to a 2002 report in the Oregon Daily Emerald, Disclosure Project founder Stephen M. Greer has gathered 120 hours of testimony from various government officials on the topic of UFOs, including astronaut Gordon Cooper and a brigadier general. In 2007, former Arizona Governor Fife Symington came forward and belatedly claimed he had seen a massive delta-shaped craft silently navigate over Squaw Peak, a mountain range in Phoenix, Arizona. Sounds like one of those clouds. On September 27, 2010, a group of 6 former USAF officers and 1 former enlisted Air Force man held a press conference at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C. on the theme, U.S. nuclear weapons have been compromised by unidentified aerial objects. They told how they had witnessed UFOs hovering near missile sites and even disarming the missiles. Is this in a comic book or what? And from April 29 to May 3, 2013, the Paradigm Research Group held the citizen hearing on the disclosure at the National Press Club. The group paid former U.S. Senator Mike Gravel and former Representative Carolyn Cheeks Kilpatrick, Roscoe Bartlett, and Merrill Cook, Darlene Hooley, and Lynn Woolsey $20,000 each to hear testimony from a panel of researchers which included witnesses from military agency and political backgrounds. Apollo 14 astronaut Dr. Edgar Mitchell claimed he knew of senior government employees who had been involved in close encounters, and because of this, he has no doubt that aliens have visited Earth. I think they're on television now. Situation comedies. In May 2019, the New York Times reported that American Navy fighter jets had several encounters with unexplained objects while conducting exercises off the eastern seaboard of the United States from the summer of 2014 to March 2015. The Times published a cockpit instrument video of an object moving at high speed near the ocean surface as it appeared to rotate. Pilots observed that the objects were capable of high acceleration, deceleration, and maneuverability. In 2 separate incidents, a pilot reported his cockpit instruments locked onto and tracked objects, but he was unable to see them through his helmet camera. In another encounter, an object described as a sphere encasing a cube passed between 2 jets as they flew about 100 feet apart. The Pentagon officially released these videos on April 27, 2020. Extraterrestrial hypothesis. Main article. Extraterrestrial hypothesis. While technically a UFO refers to any unidentified flying object, in modern popular culture, the The term UFO had generally become synonymous with alien spacecraft. However, the term ETV, extraterrestrial vehicle, is sometimes used to separate this explanation of UFOs from totally earthbound explanations. Associated claims. Besides anecdotal visual sightings, reports sometimes include claims of other kinds of evidence, including cases studied by the military and various government agencies of different countries, such as Project Blue Book, the Condon Committee, the French Japan SEPRA, and Uruguay's current Air Force study. A comprehensive scientific review of cases where physical evidence was available was carried out by the 1998 Sturrock panel, with specific examples of many of the categories listed below. Radar contact and tracking, sometimes from multiple sites. These have included military personnel and control tower operators, simultaneous visual sightings, and aircraft intercepts. One such example were the mass sightings of large, silent, low-flying black triangles in 1989 and 1990 over Belgium, tracked by NATO radar and jet interceptors investigated by Belgium's military, including photographic evidence. Another famous case from 1986 was the Japan Airlines Flight 1629 incident over Alaska, investigated by the Federal Aviation Administration. All these things are cited, nothing conclusive. Photographic evidence, including still photos, movie film, and video. Claims of physical trace of landing UFOs, including ground impressions, or burned or desiccated soil. Maybe it's after one of those movies they made. Burned and broken foliage, magnetic anomalies, specify increased radiation levels, and metallic traces. We have Hynek 611 UFO incident, or the 1964 Lonnie Zamora's Socorro, New Mexico encounter with the USAF Project Blue Book cases. A well-known example from December 1980 was the USAF Rendlesham Forest incident in England. Another occurred in January 1981 in Transan province and was investigated by Japan, then France's official government UFO investigation agency. Project Blue Book head Edward J. Ruppelt described a classic 1952 CE2 case involving a patch of charred grass roots. Physiological effect on people and animals, including temporary paralysis, skin burns and rashes, corneal burns, and symptoms superficially resembling the radiation poisoning, such as the Cash Landrum incident in 1980. Animal cattle mutilation cases, which some feel are also a part of the UFO phenomena. Biological effects on plants, such as increased or decreased growth, germination effects on seeds, and blown-out stem nodes, usually associated with physical trace cases or crop-rich circles. Electromagnetic interference, EM effects, a famous 1976 military case over Tehran, recorded in CIA and DIA classified documents, was associated with communication losses in multiple aircraft and weapons system failure in an F-4 Phantom II jet interceptor as it was about to fire a missile on one of those UFOs. Apparent remote radiation detection, some noted in FBI and CIA documents occurring over government nuclear installations at Los Alamos National Laboratory and Oak Ridge National Laboratory in 1950, also reported by Project Blue Book director Edward J. Ruppelt in his book. Might be a book to go read. Claimed artifacts of UFOs themselves, such as 1957 Ubatuba, Brazil magnesium fragments analyzed by the Brazilian government and in the Condon report and by others. 1964 Lonnie Zamora incident also left metal traces analyzed by NASA. A more recent example involves a teardrop-shaped object recalled by Bob White and was featured in a television episode of UFO Hunters, but was later found to be waste metal residue from a milling machine. See? Angel hair and angel grass. possibly explained in some cases as nests from ballooning spiders